Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And that's your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Well, the verdict is in. Derek Chauvin, trial verdict. Ex-Minneapolis police officer found guilty on all charges in George Floyd's death. I'm extremely surprised it was all of them. I thought it would be the manslaughter charge. The problem is that video that they showed when he had his knee on him, even though it wasn't on his neck most of the time, was just too damaging. Just too damaging. You know, it's funny. I've seen the video a bunch of times, the whole video of him, and when he was arrested all the way through to when he died. And the fact of the matter is, he had him in the squad car. They had him cuffed, and he started freaking out because he said he was claustrophobic. They should have just shut the door and brought him to the hospital and let the heads up in the police department and the people in the hospital do their job. Instead, they took him out to be, I think, decent to him. And we know what happened after that. They should have left him in the squad car. He was cuffed. He was ready to go. Is it the case no good deed goes unpunished? I really don't know. I don't know what to say. Let's just read the story. A panel of jurors has found former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty Tuesday on all three charges in connection with the May 20th death of George Floyd after one of the most closely watched criminal trials in recent memory. Chauvin, 45, was charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. The Americans on the edge as they awaited the verdict, the jury announced has found him guilty across the board. His bail was immediately revoked, and he was led away in cuffs behind his back. Cheers and cars honking could be heard outside the Hennepin County Courthouse as the verdict was read. Took the jury 10 hours and 20 minutes to reach the decision. That's when I knew I thought there would be one, maybe two max, not all three, because the decision came so quickly, which is late in the afternoon in the city on edge regarding the possibility of more unrest like that erupted last spring. The house is ringed with concrete barriers and razor wire, and thousands of National Guard troops and law enforcement are brought ahead of the verdict. Some businesses were boarded up with plywood. And it goes down the details. Oh, gosh. It's tragic all the way around. It's used a counterfeit 20 bill to buy cigarettes. And you can read the rest. The case boils down to two questions: whether Chauvin caused Floyd's death and whether his actions were reasonable. Each charge required a different element of proof as a Chauvin's state of mind. Please be seated. Did I think he purposely put his knee on him to kill him? I don't think so. I mean, why would he on purpose? It makes no sense. Right out in front of everybody with being filmed? Yeah, I don't think he had the intent to kill him, but I'm not one of the jurors, and I didn't see all the evidence. And that's where he declined to testify. That was a gutsy call. I'm not sure which way I would go on that. But his lawyers probably told him to plead the fifth. For all three charges, prosecutors had to prove that Chauvin caused Floyd's death and that his use of force was unreasonable. Prosecutors didn't have to prove Chauvin's restraint was the sole cause of his death, but only that his conduct was a substantial causal factor. And there you have the crack in the door. Chauvin is authorized to use force of police officers as long as that force is reasonable. And that is so subjective. Frankly, I don't think there's anybody that would argue the fact that if he hadn't had all those drugs in his system, George Floyd wouldn't have died. But then there's some that will argue if he didn't have his knee on his back, he wouldn't have died. The whole thing is just a cluster blank, and it's tragic for all involved. including the police officer. Let's be fair here. I don't think he meant to murder him, of course, or kill him. But the verdict is in. Justice has been served. The only thing that I pray that we don't find out later or years from now as these jurors are older is that the threat of basically burning down the city of Minneapolis and any threat to the jurors themselves or their families or their jobs and their livelihoods was the reason why they voted guilty. I pray that's not true. I pray this jury looked at the evidence and came to this conclusion. I didn't see all the evidence. I just got superficial stuff like we all did in the media. And there it lists what you could get for time. It's basically probably a life sentence for him. And then it explains, he said he had spoken to Floyd's family. President Biden weighed in saying he believes the case is overwhelming. Now, that's the one thing I'm going to get mad about. Absolutely over the line that a sitting president of the United States would weigh in and said the case was overwhelming before the jury came to their verdict. I find that indefensible. Indefensible. You can read the rest. He talked to George Floyd's family. All these lives shattered. All these lives shattered. And folks, let's tell the truth here. Where does this fentanyl come from? We all know. We all know. From the country that our president, President Biden, rallies behind. He's basically their ambassador in a lot of ways. But he's minimum their agent. And I don't mean an agent like a secret spy agent. I mean like an agent for somebody in Hollywood that talks you up and does, try to get you parts in movies. For all intents and purposes, he's an agent or, just an advocate for the Chinese industry. He's a lobbyist, I guess is the proper word I'm looking for. But I digress. But him saying that the evidence was overwhelming before the jury, can you imagine if Donald Trump did that? There would be hell to pay. This double standard is so asinine and so ridiculous. But the verdict is in. I'm not sure what to think, except for the fact that all of it is tragic for everyone involved. And this drug crisis is out of control. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And until next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.